Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pike Homestead. So, as we're going on our series here on how you find your homestead, um, just wanted to continue on with that. Now that we know what that we wanted to move and we've rented our property and our location to test what we're doing here, um, then it was, you need to know what to look for, what you want. That's what we're going to talk about here. All the various things that we're looking for and how we made our list is to make our short list for what we wanted. So let us know what it is you're looking for, what you want to do with your property. Give us comments.
Okay, so your first step here is going to know where you want to be located. So you want to find the city or the town or the location you want to be in. So if you're following our steps from before, you're probably already renting in the area and you've decided that this is the place you want to be. So now you want to kind of decide what other factors are important to you. So are you going to be 30 minutes away from town, 45 minutes, an hour? What is an okay distance for you to be away from a grocery store, from the hospital, from conveniences and necessities that you might need on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and how far you're willing to travel for those? So therefore you have your kind of radius of where you're going to be looking for your farm. So for us, we want to be 30 minutes outside of a town or shopping center and not too far that the hospital is more than 30-40 minutes away, just in case there is an emergency and we need them to get to us and us back. So that is kind of our key location. We knew from renting here that we want to stay here. So when we look for a property, we're going to be looking in the same area, but within a specific distance from the main town that we're in, so that we can kind of make sure that we are close enough to the necessities that we're going to have access to and not be just spending a fortune on gas and traveling hours out of our way just for the property. There's rural and then there's rural. So definitely make sure you know those kind of base points so that you can kind of get that radius of where you're looking for a property from your main hub that you hope to go to the most often.
So yeah, now you know the area you want. So the next thing to do after you've figured out where is you need to find out how much space you need, how much space you want. Like we know because we want to keep chickens and roosters and want to be having eggs and everything and having a decent sized flock. So we know we need at least 3 acres to do that in this area because of the bylaws. But we also want to be growing food and everything. So ideally for us it would be 5 plus. That's kind of our starting point for land size. And it's important to figure that out because it's all great if you get a chance to buy 140 acres or something, but what are you going to do with it, right? So you need to make sure you know what it is you want for size and what you're able to manage.
Found out what size property you want, you're gonna want to know how big of a house you want. And even if you want a house on the land, perhaps you're just wanting to buy land so you can build your own house. So now you got to kind of price that out and look at that and what you want. So if you want a house, how many bedrooms are your minimum needs? How many bathrooms are your minimum needs? This is really going to help narrow down the properties that are available to you. Are you willing to take on a 1-bathroom house to add a bathroom later? Are you willing to do a 2-bedroom house when you really could use 4? So you want to know what your lower limit and what your perfect limit would be for how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how big of a house it is, if you have space for guest rooms or anything like that. If you are buying land to put your property on, this is something we looked at because we were trying to decide whether we wanted to buy land with a house or if we want to buy land and then build a house. We were thinking maybe yurts and things like that, which is really exciting. But the problem is with that, by the time we bought the yurts, built the base, put in the kitchen, put in a bathroom, even though it's a composting bathroom, connected the water, and everything like that, it wasn't becoming much cheaper than buying a property with a house on it already. So we nearly needed to price those out and what that would be. Your well to dig could be a couple $1,000s to 30, 40, 50 plus $1,000. Your electric to get in, if it's not already on the property, could be a few $1,000s as well. Um, Building a foundation, that's another $10, $20,000 depending on what you need. So putting in your septic too, if you decided you don't want to do composting but you want to do a septic is another $30,000, sometimes less, sometimes more. So you got to really price out an average for what all these different things may cost, so you can decide and weigh whether it's more beneficial for you to build the house that you want or to buy one with a house already on it. For us, we kind of decided with the amount of money we're putting in and the time, we can't afford to have two locations so that we can live here or live in our trailer while we wait for a property. And there's too many variables that we just decided buying land with a house on it already is where we want to be first, and then we can always build our house later.
So you know where, you know how big, you know what size of house you're going to ideally be looking for if you're not going to build one yourself, right? Um, so now you need to figure out what you're going to be doing on it. So like I'd mentioned before in the size, it makes a big difference. Like if you want to be having, you know, cattle or sheep or something like that, do you have enough pasture land on it? Or do you want to be doing like a food forest and forest management and, you know, using wood for fueling your home and that sort of thing? Then you're going to need to make sure that you have some wood on, like you need to have some woods on the property. You know, you can get a fair amount of trees and everything like what we've got on our property here, even on just an acre. But is it something that, you know, over time, if we're managing it and getting rid of the dead trees and thinning it out so that the other trees can grow better, is that something that's going to last you? So, you know, like an acre of forest, like we've got maybe half an acre here, isn't going to be enough if we're having, you know, in northern Alberta winters, we're not going to get enough wood out of this to last more than a year or two. You know, as much as some of them are fast growing trees, not all of them are. You know, and adequate forest management is a thing. Like if that's one thing you want to be doing, you know, it's thinning out where you need to so the rest can grow better and so that the smaller trees can grow up as well. Or like I said, if you want to be having like sheep or cattle, do you have enough pasture to be grazing on? So like what is the land type that you're looking for and what do you want to be doing on it? And that will again help you kind of zone in on what it is you're looking for and speed up the process as far as, you know, getting your checklist of what you want to help you find your homestead.
Know kind of where you want to be located, how big your house is, how big your land's going to be, and what you plan to do with it. Now you want to find out what zoning allows you to do that. So for everything that we kind of want to do with it, um, with our property, we found that looking at all the zoning requirements, that agriculture land is the best for what we're planning to do with our property. So we're looking for, now we know that we want to look for a property that's within 30-40 minutes of the town and a hospital. We know that we want a land that's at least 3 acres. We know, but ideally more than 5. We know that we want at least 3 bedrooms and that we want it to come with a house, ideally a house rather than a mobile. Just out of preference. No real reason. Mobiles are great too. Um, but that we would be fine with a mobile. And we know that the size of the house doesn't really matter as long as we've got the bedrooms and the space for all our stuff. So we don't have a lot of stuff, so that's fine. And then enough land to be able to do the things we want, like chickens and grow some food, that kind of thing. So that means for us, we also want agriculture land, so then we know agriculture is another deciding factor when we're looking for a home.
All right, so now you know what you're looking for in terms of size of property. You know what you're looking for in terms of what the home is. You've thought about what zoning you want to be in for what you want to do on that property. Um, and so now it's time to get down to the numbers. And the things are, what do you want to spend versus what can you afford to spend? And big thing here is I'll urge you to get pre-approved for your mortgage. That will give you a lot of information as to what you have available, and also give you a good indication of what it is you'll need for a down payment, because it can be as little as 5% or as high as 35%, and the difference in that can be $10,000 versus $80,000, depending on what it is you're looking at buying. Uh, and it can be really restricting if you're on the higher risk end and they want more money down from you. So that's definitely a thing to take into consideration. And yes, the best thing you can do is talk to a mortgage broker or talk to a bank and get that sorted before you start, because once you have saying, what, looks like we can pre-approve you, and then you can go to realtor or start your actual search and get moving from there. So yeah, I highly suggest you get pre-approved. And like mortgage brokers, I think are probably the better option, just because if you go to your bank, if you have a good relationship with your bank, by all means do it. Um, but a mortgage broker will check around; they'll give the numbers out and check around and try to get you the best deal. So it's kind of like you have someone working on your side to help you with all of this, and give you the best options available, because they, at least for us, they have a wider range of contacts and knowledge on this than we do. So that was that's a big plus in our books. If you're not if you don't already own property or own a home and can be moving forward with established relationships, then having someone who's there to help facilitate that is a big help.
Comes the time to start searching for your property. So what you're going to be doing, how we're looking for our property, is we're looking on realtor.com, as well as other realtor sites directly. We're looking in Facebook groups that are for selling of houses, and by realtors as well as by owner. We're looking at houses that we pass by with for sale signs outside. We're looking on Kijiji. We're looking on Craigslist and other like-minded places. So now when we go to these search places, we can be like, we're looking in Alberta, we're looking in Lac La Biche, and we're looking for a 3-bedroom on 5+ acres for around $250,000, $300,000, and we want it to be agricultural land, zoning, and then we can kind of type all that in and press search, and it's just going to show us the properties that match that. If we're willing to be a bit tweaky, we can always up the price, lower the bedrooms down to 2 if we're flexible. I do like to kind of just knock a requirement down or up from what we want, just to see what else is available. And just to see, because it might be like the absolute perfect location, but it only has 2 bedrooms, and you could always add another bedroom to the house if you needed to, if that's in your budget. Or it might be that it might be a couple acres smaller, but that is something that is already really set up and it's just ready to just take over. So you might want to decide that that might be a better option for you than starting from scratch. So looking at these different places to look for a house gave us a lot of different options, because we got to see houses that were done by realtors, sold by the owners, things that people are renting out that maybe they would be interested in selling, and something like that as well. So that really helped us narrow down our search, and then instead of looking at 85 properties of everything that fits under our budget, we can really narrow it down, and then we have like 3 or 4 properties to really look at.
So after you've gotten your pre-approval and you've started your search for your properties, ideally made yourself a short list, the best thing you can do is to go and visit the properties that you're looking at. Like if you have a short list of 2 or 3 places that you want to take a look at, make sure you go there and get boots on the ground. And don't just walk through the house, don't just look at all the living space, look at the land itself. All right. See if it's got everything you want. See if it feels right. See, make sure it's not, if it's got water on the property, is it too marshy for easy gardening? Is it, or is it too thickly forested to be easily converted or cleared? It just depends on how much work you want to be putting into it. And again, coming in with eyes wide open on what you're going to need to do to get to your homesteading goals, right? Um, so spend the time, walk on it, get a feel for it as well, especially if you're looking at a larger property. Like, you can't really understand how big 10 or 20 acres is unless you're walking around on it and get a real feel for it and how much space you have and how much that allows you to do. um, so it's really important to get there, experience it, and get a feel for it. um, and for me, a big part, like, is even when we were living in apartments and everything like that, uh, it's also getting a feel for it, right? Like, there was one or two places that we looked at when we were, living in apartments and stuff that, you just walk in and I'm just like, yeah, I don't like this. And it's nothing that the building did or anything. It's just the vibe there. It just didn't sit well with me. And I think it was a better choice not to go. Um, you know, uh, didn't happen often, but it does happen. And it's one of those things that, you look at an ad online, it looks great, and then you get there and you realize that it's not. But if you've already paid for it, then you're kind of stuck. So make sure you get there and experience it firsthand, first thing. Um, and that way you can find, the what it is you want and make sure it works for you.
So I really hope that these tips really help you trying to get and find your homestead and kind of what you want to think about before you start searching for property. I'm always looking for property. So it was really key for me to really narrow down our wants and needs so that we find the perfect property for us and not the dream property that's $500,000-$600,000 that we just can't afford, or just settling on something smaller. So we can take the time to look in the area and just keep an eye out, let our realtors know what we're looking for, and they can just really help us try to find the property that we want. And this has been great. So we've been able to go look at some places and take a look around, and we really know what it is that we're looking for. So when we walk a property or go see a property, we really know if it's a right fit for us and if it will really do what we're looking to do and how we could maybe make that work within that property. So definitely make sure you know all the things you want. So you want to know where you're located, the size of your property you want, the size of the home, or if you're going to be building a home on it, what do you plan to do with it, how much, what kind of zoning you have, and how much you are willing to spend, as well as making sure you go and view them. Though they can look perfect online, you want to make sure you view them in person as well, and definitely view a couple of properties before settling on the one that you just fall in love with right away. I mean, you might fall in love with this one, go see that one, and be like, no, I hate that one, I want this one. But at least you know because you've looked at another property or two as well. Happy house hunting! Sorry, I'm getting bombarded by all my cats. Hey, kitty kitty. Filming for YouTube, I swear. Yeah.